Hi everyone. So we're going to start with this virtual coffee about digital transformation in media. Monica, you want to go ahead?
Absolutely. Welcome everyone. We're excited to have you join our virtual coffee break. Just to let you know, this conversation will be recorded and the recording and slides will be sent to you in the next following days. Let me share my slides. Can you see them?
Yep, it's working.
Awesome. My name's Monica Stefan, and I'm the UK commercial lead for Plain Concepts, and together with me is Paco, one of the masterminds between our technical magic here at Plain.
Hi everyone, I'm Paco Martinez. I've been working for a long time at Plain Concepts. Now in a less technical role, but before that I was very involved in some of the projects and the products that we're going to be speaking about.
Paco's really modest. He's employee number 6 here at Plain. He's been here since day one.
Yeah, almost.
So yeah, just wanted to let you know how we're going to structure the conversation. First, we're going to do a quick overview of who Plain Concepts is, and then go into the 6 case studies we have prepared for you across these 3 types of technologies to understand how media companies can progress in their digital transformation journey. So yeah, we've been around 14 years, originally from Spain. We're now at 350 strong. And our most recent offices are in London, Amsterdam, and Frankfurt. 14 offices in total across the US, Europe, and UAE. As you can see, we have experience across all industries and really all company sizes from big to small. Just wanted to call a few out for you, like Group M and Mediaset and Telefonica, which are in media industry. Our skills span really across the entire Microsoft stack, from web to mobile development to custom and advanced data and analytics solutions to IoT and, of course, mixed reality.
I like to say the only thing Microsoft we don't do is CRM.
Exactly. Dynamics. Really, at core, we're a professional services. We do custom work tailored for clients' needs. However, recently packaged a few solutions. The first one is Wave Engine. It's our platform that we've developed to build augmented reality and mixed reality solutions, 3D models, BIM models. The second one is around IoT and smart city, smart industry. And the third one is our data accelerator, Sidra. Given that a lot of the projects we'll be discussing are built on top of Sidra, I'll let Paco do a double click on the capabilities.
Yeah, so Sidra is a product that we developed without even thinking about a product, right? It was developed over the span of almost 5 or 6 years now, and it was done hand in hand with our clients. It was based on the requirements that our clients had. It's a data lake platform at its core, based on Azure Platform as a Service offerings that focuses on scalability, ease of maintenance, and automation. The idea is that once you get as much automation as possible in the whole process of the intake of the data, then you're free to leverage that platform for all just business use cases, whether they are MVPs or POCs, or they are full-fledged production systems. And it's basically focused on two different types of use cases, which are machine learning or artificial intelligence, which we provide a lot of tools to work with, and the most common one, which is business intelligence scenarios. And as you can see here, we have already a nice number of clients where we are working successfully with Sidra. Our first offering, so to speak, is to develop a very short POC with your own data in 2 to 4 weeks, where we set up the whole infrastructure, we set up the ingestion of your data, of a sample of your data, and then we showcase how it works and how it can help you control your data, enhance your data governance, and build applications on top of it.
Thank you for that. And by the way, one thing I forgot to mention is please type in your questions as we go along. We will stop after each of the 3 next sections to read them out loud and do our best in answering them. So the first topic big data and analytics. A fun fact is 82% of leadership says that exploring, understanding, and using this unstructured data is a significant challenge to their organization. The next two cases, we like to show you how we can address this pain point. And you're probably very familiar with this client, Group M. It's definitely a household name in the media industry, global presence in over 100 countries. Paco, tell us a little bit about what their challenge was and how did we help them better understand their data?
Sure. So when we first were contacted by Group M, they already had a system in place in order to run return of investment analytics for their clients. Problem they had was that the system was old and really clunky to both operate and maintain. Any modification that they did came with a host of side effects that threatened to shut the whole system down, and any change, any update took ages to do, any new data source or any change. And then when you're working on a field that's as subject to quick changes as media campaigns and advertisement, that's a huge problem. What we did for them was to scrape the whole system they have and replace it with a solution based on Azure, based on Sidra. We set up a data lake platform where they ingested all their data. It was then exposed through a web UI, a custom web UI that allowed them to run queries on top of it. So they could run from a simple extract on top of that data, we're talking terabytes of it, or they could run more complex data loads, such as the exposure path of a user when they are navigating the website and they perform a conversion, they purchase a product. Has that customer seen a specific ad? Has that been triggered due to a email they received? Things of the sort. And this was a very user-friendly interface that allowed them to run these custom queries on top of the data lake platform. And it's also exposing for those that have the proper permission, obviously, the status of the platform. Is the data loaded? Is the data up to date? Have we had any issue with any provider of the data? This led to an improvement of the return of investment of the campaigns, a lot of savings in time and in money, and also a reduction of the effort required to any maintenance or updates.
And I think any media company out there would love to better understand their ROI and reduce their costs in such ways. Moving forward, another important aspect for companies is to really engage, understand their engagement with their customers, understand their lifetime value to the business. We help in such ways to build these 360 customer profiles based on a variety of data sources, whether it's consumption patterns, stories or content they've digested, social media. Paco, tell us a little bit about how this client was able to accelerate their decision-making by having more robust customer insights.
Sure. So this was a really interesting one. And first of all, I want to apologize in the sense that most of the use cases that we're going to be discussing from now on are going to be anonymized due to restrictions on the kind of information we can share. This was very interesting for two different reasons. The first one was that the customer had a lot of information in relational databases, operational databases, their Salesforce CRM that they needed to join in a single point of access to have that customer 360 view that they required. So that was the first interesting step. We deployed Sidra, and that's something that you're going to be hearing a few times during this session. We deployed Sidra to ingest the data from the different sources. We created a Power BI dashboard on top of it, so they could check that 360 view of the client in real time, integrated with their Salesforce CRM. And the second step, and I think it's even more interesting than the actual 360 story, is the fact that this company then went through a merge. So it was acquired by a different parent company, and they needed to integrate with the systems of this new parent company. What we did was integrate all the data sources from the new parent into the existing system, so it was easier for them to perform this merge. The data was accessible faster and in the same system that they had been using and they were comfortable with. And it really helped them in a scenario where it's sometimes difficult for a host of reasons. If you can take off the edge of the IT issues of a merge, well, that's something you get going for you.
Yeah, that's definitely a challenge for everyone, I think, across the board. And Paco, tell us a little bit about Sidra and data governance challenges.
Sure. So this is not even a specific scenario for a specific client, but this is something that's pervasive across all the projects that we're working in, especially in media. And it's the fact that being a highly regulated industry, there are a lot of regulations that you need to conform with. GDPR, specific industry regulations, data carbon retention, the right to be forgotten, yada yada, everything that has to do with who owns the data and who is responsible for it. And due to that, as I said, Sidra has been developed as a joint effort with our customers based on their requirements. So many of these requirements were existing, and we've worked on delivering a solid and robust toolset to help them with it. It includes a complete data catalog to enable secure data stewardship scenarios. It includes a very interesting solution for the data carbon retention that ties in with what we were talking about, right to be forgotten. What we have is a system that allows definition of business rules that go beyond the usual, this data needs to be kept for 5 years or for 10 years or for whatever amount of time. It allows you to specify, well, it's going to be kept for 5 years, but only if the client has paid this, or only if this other data has already expired, things of the sort. And it also allows you to process this right to be forgotten through the integration of the integration hub. The integration hub allows us to, when data gets deleted from the lake, we propagate that deletion or that modification through any application that is consuming that data, any client of that data. So, for example, if you've been working on say a machine learning model that analyzes your customer data, you have the model, you have the data has been used, the data sets for the training, you have the previous runs where you were training. All that information contains data from a customer that may want to invoke that right to be forgotten. So thanks to this integration hub, we're able to delete that information not only from the repository, from the lake, but also for all the consuming clients. And what you're seeing at the moment are some screenshots of the data governance capabilities in Sidra, mainly the data catalog that showcases you the entities that you have, the shape of them, the schema. It allows you to edit and add your own information about the sources and describe them, to set the permissions and all sort of things. And we also have, and I almost forgot about it, a master data module that allows you to consolidate several sources of data into a single source of truth or golden records or whatever you want to call it.
Awesome. So how do these scenarios resonate with you? Are these challenges that your company is facing? Type in your questions and we'll do our best to answer them. So moving on to the next topic, artificial intelligence. An interesting study states that 68% of interviewees believe that knowledge mining can help them progress in their company's strategic goals in the next 1 or 2 years. But actually, there's so many ways in which AI can help either extract knowledge or forecast outcomes. So we wanted to go over 2 case studies here. The first one is more around engaging with customers, but engaging with the right customers, because in gaining customer loyalty this day and age, serving personalized and targeted experiences is key. So unfortunately, the segmentation is manual, repetitive, high cost to the company. But Paco, how are we able to automate this and reduce time and costs through AI?
So that's a really good question, because I think this and the next one are 2 of my favorite projects to speak about. This specific one has to do with how can we properly run a segmentation exercise on top of millions of different audience numbers, or let's call them the audience. How can we perform that segmentation faster and in a more repeatable way, so we can tweak that as we go along, and also be more flexible doing that? So what we've done is, once again, ingested all the data available through Sidra and persisted that into a data lake, and then we have created a client application that basically runs a machine learning model that's based on genetic algorithms in order to analyze that data, to analyze all the data that we ingested for these audiences. That generated a segmentation exercise that was presented to the decision makers on a Power BI dashboard that featured not only the actual segments that were drawn, but also an explainability model that helped them understand how that segmentation was being done, and to, based on that information, be able to iterate over it. Now, this has a number of benefits. It allows to, as Monica said, be faster doing it and be cost effective. It also allows you a greater flexibility on the taxonomy. You're no longer bound by what, say, Nielsen provides you as those segments. You're able to define your own, and the solution is applicable to several scenarios. As an audience generator, you are not even bound to use it internally. You can use it internally with agencies in your company, or you can even use it to create a separate revenue stream by granting third parties access to the tool, which is something that we've done in some scenarios.
And that's amazing. I mean, the ability to be able to target such precise micro audiences from such a large number. Imagine the time it saved the customer. And makes me think of another time-consuming and resource-intensive task, which is contract analysis. How many of us want to just stop having to read the contracts and just be able to gather the information faster and more accurately without having to spend resources to review these, right? Well, Paco, please tell us how that's possible today.
Yeah, and as I said, this is another one that I really like, because I think it's pretty interesting and pretty powerful. What we did here, what we had was a number of contract information, and that document information was usually found in PDF files, right? So binary files, but it was also sometimes found in images, contracts that were scanned or something of the sort. So what the first thing we did was, obviously, we ingest the data, we leverage the data ingesting capabilities, yada yada, everything I've been talking about. And then what we did was we leveraged the cognitive services capabilities on Azure and the custom skills that you can create for those cognitive services to extract the information. So the first step is to get the information in a format that you can work with. So we extracted the information from the text files, from the documents, from the images. Once we have that, we store in what we call the knowledge store in Sidra, which is a repository for this kind of meta information that we enrich the data with. And on top of it, we run an NLP, a natural language processing model, that is capable of, from that text, recognize clauses in the contract and extract them. So we are able to compare them and see if they are working as expected or not. So the first step is, you know which clauses the contract includes, right? If it contains all these expected clauses or not. And the second one, which I think is more interesting, is if you are manually reviewing hundreds of contracts, the human brain is really good at recognizing patterns, but that's something that is a problem, because you locked into the pattern and you fail to recognize minor changes in it, right? So if every contract has the same clause and it specifies the length of it, and everyone says 10 years, and you go through them and say, well, the clause is here, the clause is here, the clause is here, you may easily miss that in one of them it says 5 years or 3 years instead of 10. So an automated process that is able to flag those to you, to review, well, this clause is for 3 years instead of 10. Is that what you expect? Is going to be really helpful. It reduces the time it takes, it reduces the human effort to do it, and it's less error prone.
And imagine, aside from the cost reductions and the time it takes, how happy the employees are to not have to spend their time on tedious tasks, right? I'm going to pause right here. If we have any questions on this, type in your questions now, and we will continue to mixed reality. So research shows that really 2/3 of media companies already plan on incorporating more of these mixed and augmented reality into their customer engagements. However, only a bit over half of the businesses actually understand how to do this implementation. And this is where we come in. Really, mixed reality, if you think of it, has already been around a lot more than you know. If you go on Amazon or Nike right now, you can visualize some of their products on your desk or in your home. So I chose a couple of case studies that are really interesting. One is for BBVA, which is a global bank. They needed help to engage with customers in a more interesting way, in a more refreshing, attractive way regarding them purchasing or renting a home. So an application was built where customers could see these 2D pop-ups with housing information, reviews of the neighborhood, as well as a mortgage calculator, so they could simulate the different payment plans that suited their needs. The reason why I love this project is because on one hand, we provided this unique way to shop for a home, which, let's face it, has been the same since dawn of time, a little bit boring and frustrating. But secondly, it positioned our customer as a thought leader and innovator in how they engage with their customers. And then thirdly, they also drove revenue because we captured over 200,000 warm leads for their officers to reach out on. All that information, all the apartments that they had saved were tailor-made to that customer. And then a second project that's really interesting, like I was mentioning before, we're seeing this a lot more, virtual tours, virtual experiences. So for Dubai 360 was one of these projects for a traveling agency in Dubai to enable customers to virtually see these highly coveted places in Dubai City, like the Palm. And Paco, you mentioned just before the webinar another project in media.
Yeah. So this was a project that we did like a few months ago. So everything I'm going to tell you is from before this whole COVID-19 scenario, which it's going to sound weird and you're going to see why. The project is basically based on Microsoft HoloLens, the augmented reality glasses from Microsoft. So you turn them on, you run the application, and you basically are in a kind of augmented reality living room, where you have a screen where you can see the VOD offerings of the company that contracted us to develop this. So you can select, well, I want to watch this movie or this specific thing, and you invite your friends to watch it with you. So they are present, they basically have an avatar sitting next to you, and you can speak with them, you can discuss the movie you're watching. So it's kind of a virtual reality world where you can see those movies in the screen, in the HoloLens, with your friends alongside you, which, as I said, this was way before the whole COVID scenario, but it makes a lot more sense now with all the social distancing.
That would definitely make the lockdown a lot more enjoyable. And to be honest, everything is becoming already more remote, and work from home is a lot more popular. So yeah, definitely a fun experience. Just quickly before we close, we're a little short on time, obviously. We're trying to keep it short and sweet for you, but I've included additional types of projects that we're able to execute, from the more traditional, like managing publishing schedules and distribution schedules, right, to something that Paco alluded earlier around working with a company's leadership to package these technological investments that they're making to create new revenue streams by licensing them out to third-party companies.
Yeah, that's something that we've started doing more and more lately. The fact that you can package a solution, you can grant third parties access to it without even having to. You can leverage their own login credentials to the system. They can access it, and you can draw some revenue from it easily.
And of course, IoT. IoT is definitely a technology that we're also using for media customers.
And also, as you may have seen from some of these projects, the fact that AI and machine learning is going to be used even more than currently. Things like, as we mentioned, the contract clause analysis, things like the customer segmentation or the audience segmentations, things like optimizing the bid management process using AI. Those kind of things are going to be even more popular in the future.
Absolutely. So as a closing statement, I would like to invite you to reach out to us, whether it's to better understand one of the case studies we discussed, or one of the ones that I simply listed and we didn't have a chance to discuss further, Or if you just want to ideate your own challenges or your own projects, we're happy to discuss. And in fact, we're offering a complimentary brainstorming session. It will be with a technical data architect. However, it will be a business-led conversation to better help you ideate solutions. And if you actually have a project in mind or would like to start a project and you're just unsure how, we're happy to offer a technical full-day workshop where we can assess the types of data you have and design a plan with next steps.
Yeah, we also have this mixed reality demos, which unfortunately, for obvious reasons, they are paused at the moment, but there are videos available if you want to watch it. They are really cool.
Absolutely.
And
good point.
Monica,
I'll embed the videos in the slides. We have
you can watch them.
Yeah.
And also, as Monica mentioned, the data strategy workshop. It's really interesting because one of the things that we always mention about Cedar is the fact that it's a tool platform that helps you drive your data strategy and define your data strategy. It's a part of the whole company effort to define a data strategy, data governance, and the way your company is going to be working with the data it has.
Thank you.
That's basically it. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy it. I'm not sure if you have any questions. If you do, we'll stay for a few minutes afterwards. If not, well, thank you for your time.